Hello. Welcome back to the Coleman channel, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to yet another epic sickie litty frigging tube review. And for today's epic sickie litty rad tube frickin' review, it's a review of the new series, spin-off, show, Doctor Who, type beat, BBC, blah blah blah. It's called Tales of the Tardis. Yeah, Tales of the TARDIS. If you're not in the know about what Tales of the TARDIS is, I will give you the rundown right quick. Tales of the TARDIS is a series. I don't know if it's a one-off. I don't think it is. It's a series, a part of the science fiction, the longest-running science fiction show, time travel type beat series franchise called Doctor Who. If you don't know what Doctor Who is, I guess look it up. You know, it's hitting its 60th anniversary this month, this year, which is very, 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 very exciting. And this new Tales of the TARDIS show was created as part of the 60th anniversary celebrations, and it's something that I'm very, very hyped for, because if you don't know, because I've not really talked about it on the channel, I'm a massive, massive, massive fan of Doctor Who. I think Doctor Who was probably the first big series that I got into when I was a child, and I was cripplingly obsessed with Doctor Who when I was a kid. I grew up watching David Tennant when he starred as a Doctor. I think maybe series 3 I started watching it, so it's his second year as a Doctor, so he was my first Doctor as well. I went back and watched Christopher Eccleston as a 9th Doctor, and then I got into the classic series and stuff. I love Doctor Who all across the board, particularly the show. I don't really bother with like the Big Finish audio stories or anything like that, or the books or anything, but the point is, I like Doctor Who a lot. I'm a massive fucking fan of Doctor Who. Been watching it for freaking years, and it's got a very special place in my heart in terms of things I like, because you know, I grew up watching it. The 10th Doctor specifically is kind of like my childhood hero growing up, you know. I'm just, you know, fucking, it's Doctor Who, bruh, come on, it's sick. And quite recently it's fallen on pretty sad times with the most recent run of shows that just ended there, with Jodie Whittaker as the 13th Doctor. She's okay, you know, she's not the worst, but I'm not a massive fan. And I mean, really, the worst part of the whole thing was the writing was garbage, and I don't think Chris Chibnall, in my opinion, did a very good job. I just thought it was not very good. I thought the writing was pretty poor. I thought the stories were not very interesting. I think they were pandering through quite a lot of it. But you know, that's just my 2 cents. That's all it is. We're not here to review that anyway. We're here to review Tales of the TARDIS, which, like I said, is a new series that came about for the 60th anniversary celebrations, and it's pretty fucking rad. Russell T Davies, who is the original writer of the new series of Doctor Who, with David Tennant and all that, is back. He's the new producer of Doctor Who once again, and he has brought us this 6-part mini-series, 6 episodes, made for BBC iPlayer, you know, the British Broadcasting Company. Yeah, so if you're a fan of Doctor Who outside of the UK, you're probably going to have a very, very hard time to find this, because it's not available literally anywhere else apart from iPlayer. I know there's clips and stuff available on YouTube, but yeah, it's a 6-part mini-series. It's very, very interesting. It's like an exploration of Doctor Who's past. It's apparently canon as well, which is very, very fascinating to me. I'm curious to see what's going to come out of it. And it's basically a selection of companions and incarnations of the Doctor. You know, Peter Davison's there, the 5th Doctor, Colin Baker, the 6th Doctor, Sylvester McCoy, the 7th Doctor, and a variety of different companions like Jamie and Zoe from the 2nd Doctor era, Joe from the 3rd Doctor era, and some kid, I don't know, I think he's from the Sarah Jane Adventures. I didn't watch that when I was growing up. I never really watched the Sarah Jane Adventures, but he was in it. And I know Joe was in it at some point as well. Ace, Perry, you know, a whole smorgasbord of characters from Doctor Who's history unite together in this a big amalgam TARDIS, which is called the Memory TARDIS. It's like made up of a bunch of different consoles throughout the Doctor's tenure, all the different incarnations and such. And spoiler-free review. It's pretty cool, you know. It's pretty decent. It's pretty neat. It's a lovely little love letter to the past of Doctor Who, the classic era, and I love the concept because Russell T Davies has always been very good at character writing. He's always been one of his biggest strengths, I think, throughout his tenure when he was writing for the 9th and 10th Doctors, is he's very, very good at dialogue. He's very, very good at creating growth in characters. He's very, very good at dialogue. He's just very, very good at really meaty, character defining conversations between the Doctor and the companions, the Doctor and enemies. You know, just establishing character through dialogue is one of his biggest strengths, and I think it's probably the thing he must love to do the most, because that's very much what Tales of the TARDIS is all about. It's literally just characters talking with each other in the room about their past experiences and stuff. And it's nice because obviously for the classic era, this is something you don't really get to see. For the classic era, the writing was very much bouncing from adventure to adventure. Back then, stories would not be single episodes. It would go for like 4 parts or even like 6 parts. The stories would go on for fucking ever, and they would just jump back and forth and wouldn't really ruminate on the past. They wouldn't discuss anything in that particular way. That's just the writing of the time, you know, in like the 80s and 70s and 60s and whatever. So it was really cool to get to see these classic incarnations talk to their friends, their companions that they've not seen in years, and talk about what they've went through in the past and all this kind of stuff. It's nice. I love the idea very much of just character dialogue and just getting to see classic characters talk in this little setting, especially about really great episodes, because the whole idea really is to introduce people that are either new to Doctor Who or are only really experiencing the reboot Doctor Who, you know, from 2005 onwards, and have never really watched the classic stuff, to introduce them. Because really, and this was the only thing that I thought was quite disappointing, honestly. I mean, like, you know, I get the point and it makes sense and it works, but it's not what I thought Tales of the TARDIS was going to be at all. The conversations that the characters have in the memory TARDIS are bookends, really. That's all they serve for. They're bookends for classic episodes of Doctor Who that have been cut right down and to be more easily digested. So that's probably my biggest criticism of the whole thing. I thought it was going to really just be nice, meaty conversations with characters about certain aspects of about their adventures, and maybe have some examples, that's like clips of whatever they're talking about from whatever episode that is they're talking about spliced in. It isn't really that at all. It's more like just bookending. They're just bookends for a whole episode, and you know, I can see why, to be fair, because a lot of these actors now are fucking old. I think the oldest characters we saw were Vicky and Stephen, who travelled with the first Doctor. I think they were some of his last companions that he travelled with, about like 65. So they've been around the block for a while, and at that point that would have been nearly 60 years ago. Come 2025, that would have been 6 years ago since they were in Doctor Who. So they're very old at this point, and you know, I don't know, I mean, they're easy scenes to shoot, they're just literally talking, but I guess, I mean, at the end of the day, the whole concept, it seems, for Tales of the TARDIS is to introduce people to the classic series with some of the best episodes, and having the characters now have nice dialogue about what happened and their experiences in the TARDIS with the Doctor, their friendships and relationships, and it's all very nice. It's very wholesome. There were some moments that were real actual heart-wrenching moments, especially when you know what they're talking about, when you've seen the episodes that they're talking about or whatever. And it's just, you can feel the love, really. You can feel the love for these characters and these actors that have probably not worked with each other since Doctor Who, you know? And for some of these people, that's almost 60 fucking years ago. So you can really feel that moment of being reunited. And these actors haven't really lost it either, you know. Obviously, I would say acting standards have changed over the last 60 years, but you know, they're very strong acting still, despite the fact that they probably haven't maybe even acted in many years, you know. Maybe they're just doing this for Doctor Who, I don't know. But it was nice, it was wholesome, great writing, great dialogue between the characters, great set design as well. I love the concept of the memory TARDIS a lot. It looked rad. And yes, I think if you're a Doctor Who fan, you're going to really love it at the end of the day. Especially if you have not really dabbled in the classic series, which you absolutely should. Some of the strongest episodes in Doctor Who history are obviously in the classic series. That's probably why it went on for just under 30 years before the show got axed in 89. So yeah, that's really the only thing I can say about it that I didn't like. It was disappointing to find out it was more like just episodes with bookends of conversations, but at the end of the day, I think it's a very good idea. I think it very much is fit for purpose to bring people into the classic series and help them watch it in a more easily digestible way, because again, a lot of these stories are 4 episodes to 6 episodes long, and pacing back in the 60s, 70s, 80s was very different to pacing now. It's very much slower. It really not drags out, maybe the wrong term, but it drags out a little bit longer than your typical Doctor Who episode now. So you need to pay a bit more attention to what you're watching, which is hard for people to do these days in 2023. So I think it's a good idea to take these very long stories, cut them down, make them very digestible for people who have not watched them, and then obviously the original stories are still there for them to go back to, because it's all there now on iPlayer. But the most exciting thing for Tales of the TARDIS, I say, is just the potential, because there's more to come. Tales of the TARDIS is the first new Doctor Who show to be under the Whoniverse banner, which is apparently the new thing that we're calling the Doctor Who franchise. All the shows, it's just called the Whoniverse, which is really fucking sick. I am so goddamn excited to see what's going to be happening with Doctor Who now. Make Doctor Who great again, please. For the love of fucking God, if this is it, I will fucking screech into the light. That's the most exciting thing for me, to see this show come out, to see it being under the Whoniverse banner. It just, man, what's gonna fucking come next? It's so fucking exciting to be a Doctor Who fan right now. After, in my opinion, maybe 4 years of kind of garbage, in my fucking opinion. Really, the only Whittaker episode I really enjoyed was the Centennial BBC episode that came out. I can't remember the name of it, but I like that one. And it's just nice that we're here now, you know. But in terms of spoilerific stuff, there really isn't much to say apart from give you a bit more detail on what the contents of the episodes are. Because like I said, it really is just bookends of the people talking. I'll give you an example of one. The first episode, which focuses on a Fifth Doctor story called Earthshock. And like I said, it's got the Fifth Doctor in it, Peter Davison, and one of his companions called Tegan Javanka. I cannot remember the actress's name, but she is probably one of the more iconic Fifth Doctor companions, probably one of the more popular companions in general. She travelled with Tom Baker, number 4, for a little while, but she's more closely associated with number 5, and they find themselves in this memory TARDIS. It's basically the same setup for every episode. The people pull up, they go, "Where am I?" And then they find their friend, they go, "Oh, it's so good to see you again, friend." Hug it out, talk about their adventures, the past, where they are now, which is really nice to get a bit of an understanding as to where these characters have been and what's happened to them since they travelled with the Doctor. Because a lot of times for a lot of these characters, they just kind of go, "I'm going to leave now, goodbye," and then we never see them again for 60 fucking years. Anything could have happened to them, so it's nice to get some background on that. With Tegan, not so much, because she did return recently in Doctor Who, which was nice to see, but it was cool to see her again in this setting. But yeah, they get into a conversation about Adric, who is someone that travelled with the TARDIS and the Doctor. At one point, nobody fucking likes Adric because he's a big whiny teen. He was not very popular in Doctor Who, but he sacrificed himself for the Earth and his friends in this episode, Earthshock. So they talk about him, and then it's Earthshock. It's the episode cut down, digestible from 4 fucking episodes for people to watch. And Earthshock's good. It's got Cybermen in it, baby. It's got some great dialogue. It's a great story. And of course, it's one of the only episodes of Classic Who where a companion dies, and it's pretty impactful. He blows up. Adric's got always had this weird badge of a star, and like the final shot of the episode is just a star sitting there in bits, and it cuts back, and I think the Doctor has the star, which is really nice, and they just talk about Adric. They talk about Adric, bruh. It's actually really sweet, because they don't beat about the bush. They acknowledge actually some of the negative traits of him as a character, how he was whiny and bratty and just was high maintenance to deal with, and they acknowledge that, but they acknowledge him as a friend and someone that they miss very much, which I thought was actually very sweet. I thought it was just it's nice, bruh, and a great selection of Doctor Who episodes as well, obviously. The Mind Robber was a second Doctor story with Jamie and Zoe, probably some of the best companions ever. So fucking cool to see them again. I love Jamie McCrimmon, Scottish fella. I mean, he's an English actor, he's a Scottish fella, and he's one of the OGs and one of the best. So it was nice. It's just nice, bro, to see these characters you would never imagine seeing again in Doctor Who appear in some way. And the fact that it's all canon as well is really, really exciting. The fact that this is established storyline stuff, because like for Jamie and Zoe specifically, their story was they got sent back after traveling with the Doctor and their memory gets wiped. They only remember the first time meeting them and all their adventures are gone. But they both appear in this memory TARDIS and their memories slowly reappear again. And they remember their travels with the Doctor, which is fucking darling. It's so nice to know that in canon they remember, I mean, there's not much more to say, bruh. It's a nice concept. Even the fact that they brought stuff in like the Sarah Jane adventures is wild. And what else could possibly happen for the future of this? Will we be seeing, will Tom Baker make an appearance? Will we see other companions? Will we bring in stuff from other Doctor Who IPs? Will we see stuff from Torchwood? More Sarah Jane adventures? That really garbage show that no one watched called Class? Will we see some stuff from Class? I don't know. But the potential is very, very exciting. And I hope they do expand upon it a bit more. I would like to see some more conversations with the characters as opposed to just being bookends for the episode itself, you know what I mean? And here's, I think, one of my favourite things of the Tales of the TARDIS series. There's an episode that focuses on Colin Baker, the 6th Doctor, and Perry Brown, which was his companion throughout pretty much the entirety of his tenure, apart from Mel, who is another one that not a lot of people liked. She's coming back to the show, but yeah, not a lot of people liked Mel back in the day. But yes, the two of them are talking about probably, I think, one of the 6th Doctor's best stories, Vengeance on Varos. And the thing with the 6th Doctor is, I mean, if you know Doctor Who, then you know what I'm about to say. If you don't know Doctor Who, this will be a bit of a mind jumble to you. But when Colin Baker was on Doctor Who, the show was pretty much in fucking crisis mode, and pretty much all the blame got put on him. And it certainly didn't help because the writing on a lot of these episodes were pretty bad, and his costume was fucking deplorable. It looks awful. Colin Baker hates it to this day, and it's nice because they decided not to put him in the outfit. He's obviously, all these actors are way, way older now. They appear older, obviously. And Colin Baker got given this really nice little suit. He's got like an open collar with an ascot, just a nice little maroon little number. And there's nods to his insane outfit as well, because he's got like a little tissue in his pocket with like multicolours. He's got a vest on in the back of it's like all tartan pattern and stuff, so there's nods there. But they've basically given him a whole new outfit and just made him look more presentable and less ridiculous, because that was probably one of the weakest aspects of his Doctor, sadly. Even though the coat's there in the TARDIS, that was really nice. And his character, he's an amazing actor still, that's the biggest pain of the 6th. I like the 6th Doctor, bruh. And Colin Baker's a great actor, and through his stupid costume and the writing, he really pushes through, even when the writing tried to make him into being a mental case and a bit of a dickhead in the first few episodes. In Tales of the TARDIS, he's very warm, he's like a Santa Claus, bruh. He's just such a nice, jovial old man, and it's so sweet to see him getting great writing to this day. Yeah, it's just fucking great, bruh. I love that. It was probably one of my favourite episodes just because the Sixth Doctor's getting some mad reps and some big respect and some big ups, you know? But yeah, the Earthshock episode's probably one of my favourites. The Mind Robber episode, Vengeance on Varos, are probably some of my favourite ones. And yeah, like I say, if you're a Doctor Who fan, you definitely must watch it. You've probably watched it already. If you've not seen any of the classic series, you gotta watch Tales of the TARDIS. It's the perfect introduction for you. It's carefully selected some of the best episodes all across its history. And yeah, bruh, just as a Doctor Who fan, it's just a wonderful sight to see this sort of thing happen, especially for the 60th, you know what I mean? And I really hope we do see more. It sounds like we will. I'm really excited by it. And that's really all I gotta say about Tales of the TARDIS, you know what I'm saying? Not much else. Epic to lame ratio now, ladies and gentlemen. I think Tales of the TARDIS can be pretty comfortable. I cannot fucking enunciate my words. In a high tier, pretty epic spot. Like I say, it's pretty much, it is what it is. It's a really nice little love letter to the classic era, bringing all the classic companions and doctors back, having some great riveting dialogue about their past, something that we never really saw in the classic era in general. Coupled with some of the best episodes, cut down and diluted and easily digested for audiences. It'd probably be very epic if it was what I thought it was going to be, which is just nice, tight conversations, the whole thing. Be fair, I don't know how you'd make it very long as if they did do that, but it would have been nice to see that, you know. I was a bit when I found out it was just conversation, the episode conversation kind of thing. But Tales of the TARDIS, great, welcome addition to the 60th anniversary. Really great to see that Russell T Davies is going. I'm going to be making some even more IPs now, because that man was working like a freaking maniac when he was doing Doctor Who. He was doing Doctor Who, Torchwood, and the Sarah Jane Adventures at the same fucking time, and they all melded together at one point in Series 4, I believe. Anyway, gonna stop freaking nerding out. Yeah, high tier, pretty epic. Tales of the TARDIS. Doctor Who fan, go and watch it. If you're outside of the UK, it's probably on YouTube somewhere. I would just stick with, I mean, you know, if you're a classic fan and you've seen these episodes, you probably just want to see the conversations that these characters have. This is very much tailor-made for people who have not seen this stuff before, you know what I mean? So, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, it's great, bro. That's just the way it is. Oh, man. And that's going to be my review of Tales of the TARDIS, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you thought of it below. If you're a Doctor Whomsted fan, did you like Tales of the TARDIS? What was your favourite episode? What's your favourite episode of the classic era? Favourite Doctor, bros? Get a classic Doctor Whomst dialogue going. All my Whovians out there, come out and talk with me. Anyway, I've been Coleman, and this has been a Tube review. More reviews coming. Content, general, blah blah frickin' blah. You know what I'm saying?